Charlestown Chiefs. Brought to you by Sheehan's Rust Roofing. The Chiefs have just come out on the ice for a warm-up period. They're about to try for their 5th consecutive win. They're getting a good round of applause from their own booster club, who have traveled all the way from Charlestown to be here in Peterborough tonight.
Are you a first responder, a veteran, a doctor, a nurse, a teacher, or a Let's Go Blues radio listener? Of course you are. If you're in the market to buy or sell a home, call real estate superstar Mike Burgoyne today at 314-753-4060 or email him at mike@strikewithmike.com to earn special rates today.
Cut out the coffee, cut out those energy drinks that make you crash, and put yourself in a position to succeed with an energy boost from RockinThatIDLife.com. You'll be energized, focused, and you'll even experience an elevated mood for up to 6 hours. Check out RockinThatIDLife.com to learn more.
A team that was in last place on January 3rd. The players on the bench are bouncing up. History will be made tonight in Boston.
You're watching Let's Go Blues Radio, the original St. Louis Blues hockey podcast with your hosts Kurt Price, Bill Day, and what appears to be a Peter Dinklage cosplay. So just sit back, grab a beer, and enjoy the best blues hockey talk on YouTube.
Welcome to episode 23 of season 14. This is episode number 504 all time of the often imitated, never duplicated, God created dinosaurs, God destroyed dinosaurs, God creates man, man destroys God, man creates dinosaurs. We're the original St. Louis Blues hockey podcast, Let's Go Blues Radio. Check out the Let's Go Blues Minute wherever you get podcasts. It provides you with a daily look into the St. Louis Blues in a quick hit fashion. Smash that subscribe button, as the kids say. It's Wednesday, March 5th, and we're streaming live to the masses. Make sure to follow us on socials at LGB Radio and like, follow, and subscribe to us on YouTube and Facebook. I'm your host, Jeff Ponder. I am joined by Bill Day. Kurt Price is facing allegations. I told him not to go to that NAMBLA meeting, but he went anyway.
You went somewhere else with it. I was going to say Kurt Price is facing allegations dealing with trees.
Yes.
And I was going to see if trees was going to show up in the chat, because that would be fun.
Oh, that's a great call. Yes, man. I kind of want to, you know what? I'll, after a break, I'm going to share that image actually. Yeah. After the break, I'll make sure to save it, and we'll show what Kurt is dealing with right now. But we'll get to that in a minute. The agenda for tonight,
listeners.
Yeah, right. The agenda for tonight includes the Blues finally stringing together more than 2 wins in a row, a defenseman getting a new contract, the Blues and Kings battling again, and more on this electrifying episode of Let's Go Blues Radio. And look at that, Bill. You mentioned his
shows
name,
up.
and here he is, Father Nature. Trees in the YouTube chat. He says, welp, at least we can win 3 games in a row now. Trees, we got a picture of you that we're going to share later, and the damage you caused to Kurt's yard. That is part of why Kurt's not here. The wind has wreaked havoc on Kurt's house in Troy, Illinois. So, yeah, we'll show those images later. But yeah, very sad to see what Kurt was dealing with. But more importantly, everyone look at Bill Day. No glasses tonight.
Yeah. Yeah. So this guy I know texts me this afternoon, like actually late afternoon, and, doesn't give me a lot of notices and says, hey, you want to play tonight? So, yeah, I'm pregame ready at this point. Had to go contacts in. I cannot do an entire day in contacts, and pretty much I've only been wearing them when I play hockey, when I get, go fly fishing or whatever, right? Only doing things active. I can't wear them most of the time. So if I start squinting, it'll be a problem.
This is the picture that Kurt sent us of his backyard that you can see there. So actually here, let me take down the overlay here so you can see. Oh, well, what am I doing? Hang on. That's not right. This. There we go. Okay. Yeah, so that is what you're seeing there is Kurt's backyard as of right now. You can see that tree got pulled straight out of the ground by this crazy wind, knocked his fence over, his neighbor's fence over. So that is what he's dealing with. Well, I don't know if he's dealing with it right this minute, but I know he dealt with it earlier today. So that's a problem. Might have to get out there with my chainsaw this weekend and help Kurt out.
Yeah, I used to live very close to Kurt, and we had our house. We had 16 Bradford pears. The guy that lived there before us was had like been the manager at Home Depot or something, and must have got a deal on them because he planted them the entire perimeter of the yard, and they are notorious for snapping in winds. And we had that happen one time. Luckily, it was like right in the middle and just went over top of the neighbor's fence. Didn't go through it like what seems to have happened to Kurt and his neighbor's fence there. So yikes.
Yeah. So we've got a Bradford pear in the backyard, and it's really funny because our neighbors right next door have a pretty big pool that takes up pretty much their entire backyard. And they told me when we moved in that they're first generation. They're older. They've lived here since the early 70s. And the woman told me that they actually talked the neighbors at the time, the first homeowners of this house, to put a Bradford pear in the backyard. Like, oh, it had such great shade, when it gets big and it's beautiful, the leaves are great. Well, now that they've got this pool, they've come over a couple times and been like, can you trim that back or just cut it down? And I was like,
Yeah.
we're the ones who said to build it. So
Yeah.
no.
Yeah. And plus you get that like week and a half in spring where it just smells like fish.
Yeah. Yes. That is
Yeah,
definitely true.
I don't miss that.
The biggest issue that I've noticed was last summer, cicadas loved that tree. And for those that don't know what I've never really, well, I mean, you've seen a Bradford pear, I'm sure, but don't realize you've seen a Bradford pear. Some of those branches, they're pretty low, like face height for me. I'm about 5'11" and a half. And yeah, oh my gosh, every time I went out to mow the lawn, I would just get hit in the face constantly by these damn cicadas because they were just swarming the bottom branches. And I'm like, oh, that was the one time I'm like, I'm about to just cut this damn tree down. I can't handle these damn cicadas. But luckily, hopefully, we won't have to deal with that surge of cicadas that we had last summer for a little while.
Yeah, like 20. Some of them are a 21-year brood or something like that. So
yeah, and I think there's a couple that are 7 or 8 year. Yeah, last year was like the perfect storm of it's like what a 21 and a 29 year came out at the same time or something.
Yeah, something crazy. Signs of the apocalypse, if you ask me.
Yes. The other talking piece that we had this going into the show was that Bill mentioned he got a text from a crazy guy asking to play goal tonight. Yes, that was me. Our goalie, normal goalie, is just not feeling it tonight. So he said, hey, what are the chances you could ask the other guy to play? And I said, I don't know. It's a late ass game. It's a 10:30 start tonight. But I think you're probably thinking what I'm thinking. I'm like, I was going to be up anyway watching the Blues game. So maybe he'll do it. And you originally were like, I don't know, maybe. And you're like, I got to stretch. I haven't played. I'm not in game shape. And I'm like, well, this is beer league. Luckily, nobody's in game shape. So
yeah, no, I'll tell you, I've been dealing with like just having no energy by the time my work day is over. But today I was like completely energized. So it was the perfect day for you to have asked.
Nice.
And then of course I get home and just start yawning like crazy. But I'm good. I'll be there and looking forward to making an ass of myself.
Hey, that's what I do every game.
And you're an all-star.
That's right. Yes, that's true. Yeah, did I tell you that I did not get to play this weekend
You,
because of the illness I had. I still had it Saturday morning and was
really?
just like, I can't go. Yeah, so for those who don't know, H&A Hockey North America, the league that I play in, well, Bill plays in now as well.
Crazy.
We have right. We have they have an all-star game because it's 20 games for the session. It's all winter. And so they literally in the middle of the season say, let's do an all-star game, which is really cool. And every team gets to select 2 players from their roster to go to the all-star game. So this was, of course, the year that I get selected by my teammates to represent us in the all-star game, which was, it's a nice honor. I mean, yeah, it's a silly beer league thing, but it's an honor for your teammates to recognize you. And of course, I couldn't do it because I was sick. So we had one representative, Brendan McIntyre, who scored 4 goals in our last game, by the way. He represented us and I'm sure did a great job. But yeah, I woke up Saturday morning. I literally walked out of bed and I looked at my wife and I'm like, I'm going to try to do it today. I'm going to go play. I'm going to do it. And she just gave me one look and goes, you couldn't even take the trash out last night. And I'm like, you're right. Like, this is a terrible idea.
Yeah, you could have done the Michael Jordan playing with the flu and game of his life against the Jazz in '93 or whatever it was.
Right. Yep. This would have been my Jordan game, but I
Yeah.
passed on it.
Yeah, well, I am looking forward to playing tonight. It'll be a late night, but Thursday's a work from home day, so I can slip in
Perfect.
just a little bit, and yeah, it'll be good. Looking forward to
Good.
it.
Yeah, so it's like tonight we're doing, this is a pregame show. Are we pregaming the Blues and Kings or are we pregaming the Force and Saints game?
I think it's got to be the latter now, right?
Yeah, right. Yeah. Who cares about the Blues? This is Let's Go Force Radio tonight. I should mock that logo up just to fool with Kurt. Do we do you have a beer tonight?
No, I'm playing tonight.
I was gonna say that's how I am. I'm drinking water tonight. So
Yeah.
yep. Same
Got
here.
the Smart Water cucumber lime. I love this stuff, and they ran into production issues, and you can't find it right now. So I think I got the last 3 bottles in the Glen Carbon Edwardsville area.
Nice. So for me, you see the straw hanging out here. I have rediscovered straws in my older life, as dumb as that sounds. I'm always that guy that when I go to like McDonald's or, well, let's just say any restaurant where you get your own drink, I never do the lid in straw. I usually just, while I'm at the restaurant, I'll just fill the cup and I'll drink straight from the cup. But I don't know, recently I've just, maybe it's a lazy thing. My wife got these like bendy straws and for my son, and they're pretty big, so they can fit in pretty much any mug. And as I've gotten older, I've realized now, I'm like, man, I love just putting these little straws in these, big old mugs, and it's so much easier to just drink out of a straw. So here I am, 39-year-old man, and I'm like, oh, I love straws now.
Reverting to sippy cups.
Yes, we all revert back, right? And Baked Beaver, that is kind of true. He says men's league is all about a couple beers before you hit the ice. That is the case for a lot of people I play with. I did my high school, well, actually our high school, Baked Beaver. I did our alumni game back in December, and it's just so funny to see all these guys that are like just chugging beer. They got liquor in the locker room before the game. They're passing them around, and I've never, even in my 20s, it's just not for me. It doesn't feel right to have a bunch of beer or liquor swishing around in my belly while I'm playing hockey. I've just never liked the feeling. I'm all for beers after. I will drink as many beers as possible after a game. Before and during, I just can't do it. It's just not my thing. Couldn't get into it. And so, yeah, I get Bake Beaver. That's how a lot of guys are. Like, we'll have guys in the locker room drinking beer before the game tonight, but just not for me. Hey, we got one of our summer players, Mr. Mason Maccabee, who you know, Bill.
Yeah.
He says, go Force. Yes, go Force. Short lineup tonight. We've only got 10. So hopefully, Bill, you don't get destroyed. But hey, the last time we had 10 guys in the for the game, we actually won. We played very, very well. So we will see how it goes tonight.
All right. I'm counting on you guys because I may be dead after warmups. So
well, we all might be. We'll see.
Yeah.
We all just played Sunday as well. We were telling so every now and then you get those weird schedule quirks, even with one game a week, technically. So we actually had a game on Sunday, we got a game tonight, and then we got another game next Sunday. And so we're like, wow, 3 games in 8 days. And we're like, that's like an NHL schedule. Look at us.
Yeah, it's like you got a West Coast road trip going on.
Mason Maccabee says, I'd sub, but H&A, LOL. Yeah, they're really weird about having subs. But actually, Mason, we need to, that's something we should discuss, because we do actually have sub spots now. So, but I got to have you on the roster to start the season. So we'll take that one offline. Big Beaver says, there are trash cans for ladies with upset stomachs. Shut up, Kyle.
Or nervous goalies.
Nervous goalies, yeah. All right, well, let's get into it, Bill. First item up is the Blues. Actually, last week, late in the week, they did re-sign Tyler Tucker to a 2-year, $1.85 million extension. That equates to $900,000 next season, and then the season after that, a little bump in $950,000 in 26-27. This season with the Blues, he has 2 goals, 2 assists, and 4 points in 30 penalty minutes in 20 games. He has 10 points in the AHL, along with 39 penalty minutes in 19 games with the Springfield Thunderbirds. We got a couple questions here about jerseys and stuff. We'll get to that in a minute. But yeah, I have been pleasantly surprised by Tyler Tucker this year. We all said last year, we hope we never see him in the NHL again. He just does not look like an NHL player. He still does not have the NHL speed, but I will say something that I think he has really improved on. And I have to wonder if there's any influence here from Ryan Suter, who is not the fleetest of foot at age 40 now. His positioning has gotten so much better. He's not the type of guy you want to step up on elite players or elite skaters, but he's gotten so good at rounding out the when they're skating in on him. He doesn't get burned as much. I haven't seen him get burned in a while, actually. And I think it's because he's learned that he can't skate with anyone, so he just needs to be really good positionally. And so I feel like he's kept guys to the outside. He's tying up sticks when they're hemmed in their own zone. He's doing a lot of the right things we were not seeing him do, at least the last couple call-ups. So I've been pleasantly surprised. I like this signing. Good depth player. I think when this team's ready to go and they've got guys like Theo Lindstein and other guys up here, if Tyler Tucker's still on this roster as your 6th or 7th defenseman, I think that's fine. I think that's where he fits. And, at about 975 would be the cap hit. So right under $1 million. I think that's right where he belongs.
Yeah, I won't say a whole lot other than I think the money's right. He didn't go over $1 million for a guy, only gave him 2 years. It's not a crazy Doug Armstrong. Hey, you look good. How about 7 years at 6.5 contract? So
Yeah.
We got that going for us. But no, I think you're right. I think he's under the tutelage of the elder statesman defenseman, most importantly, Ryan Suter. His game's kind of rounded out. And he's not making too many terrible reads. The defense, all of the guys that have played the right point this year have made bad reads and given up odd man rushes the other way. Nobody's immune from that, but he's not doing it night in, night out like he seemed to be when he got sent down last year. So good on him. Yeah, I'm not going to complain about it. I did my complaining when they picked him over P.O. Joseph.
Yeah. Yep. I agree. And surprising that he has been able to stay up here while keeping Matt Kessel down, who was kind of the coach's darling last year. Mike Weber seemed to really like him and use him in a lot of situations. So obviously Tucker's doing the right things. Again, I think where he's at, 6th, 7th defenseman on this roster, which technically he's kind of been the 7th since Letty's come back.
Yeah.
I think that is a perfect fit for him. Good rough and tumble guy you can insert in the lineup. I actually would have no problem if they were playing a team that they knew was going to be, feisty. I'd have no problem with playing. He's the type of player I think you could put on the wing and still be effective because he's got some offensive upside. He's a smart guy in the offensive zone. So I think that could be something we might see for him in the future. I'm not saying he's going to play 82 games on right wing, but a guy that, if you're in a jam and you got an injured player late or something, you could probably put him on the wing and he'd be comfortable. So, I think that this is a guy that they're just happy to have around the locker room. Seems like everybody likes him. And like you said, I knew he was going to get re-signed. I was really nervous. I'm like, here comes a 5-year deal at $4 million total or 4.5, whatever. And it's just no. And I think this is the kind of guy that even after this 2-year deal, I'd still say, let's stay 2 to 3 year contracts. Do not lock this guy up long-term because, he's one heel turn away from being a little slower as he gets older. So I like this deal. 2 years, 1.85, right where he should be. Baked Beaver adds in the chat. He says, extend Walker, F Tucker. Why did I say F? Fuck that. Fuck Tucker. Shane Gillis looking motherfucker. Okay.
There's a blast for the past.
Yes. He says Tucker is cheap, but a liability. As much as that chip on his shoulder sticks around, he needs to mature. That is from the Baked Beaver. Wow. Baked Beaver also adds Cairo needs to go as no trade clause hits next year. He's overpriced, valuable elsewhere, but we need to move him and get a second line center. We got some trade deadline stuff we'll come up talking about, so we'll probably get into that later. Our friend over at why am I drawing a blank on the name of the show? The Shark Show.
Teal Town.
Yes, thank you. I almost said Shark Attack. I'm like, that ain't right. Teal Town USA, which of course is the great San Jose Sharks podcast. So good I can't even remember their name. Puck Guy 14. Let's go, guys. When are the jerseys on sale? Well, I'm glad you asked. So this, again, for those of you who may not have seen it, if you're watching live, this is our new white jersey, the Let's Go Blues Radio white jersey. It mimics the early 90s jersey that was so beautiful that we all love. This is on sale now. So if you would like to purchase one of these beautiful babies, $45 is what it costs you. Venmo me at jponder94. That is jponder94. And just make sure you include your the name you want on it, the number you want on it, and the size of your jersey. So it fits like most hockey jerseys. So whatever size you normally wear, that's how you should do. If you have more questions, if you want to talk to us first, just reach us on social media, radio at letsgoblues.com. We'll provide you any information you might need before you make your decision. But again, $45 will get you one of those beautiful jerseys. Usually we'll ship about 5 weeks after we receive payment. So very excited. Bill and I have ordered ours. Looking forward to getting mine. Debating whether I want to get a second one and replace this bad boy blue one behind us. But those are also still on sale. So if you want one of those, also $45 and same deal.
Package deal though? Are you doing a package?
There is a package deal. So for both, typically it'd be $90. If you wanted to order both the blue and the white jersey, it would be $5 off, so it'd be $85. Thank you for mentioning that. Yes,
Yeah.
$85. Get you both.
And Jeff has said that he will accept one Melania coin for a package.
Sure, why not? If anyone has one, sure. Let's see, we had another question up here. Jeff Whistler, y'all going to be streaming the game when it starts? No, and actually, we're not even going to be going until game time like we normally would, because Bill has to get going to make sure to make the Force game later, which he is playing in goal for.
Yep, got about a 35-minute drive out to Kirkwood. So
yep, I've got about a 12-minute drive, which is fantastic.
Fuck you.
Jeff also asks, how do hockey players greet each other? Ice to meet you.
Dad joke of the show.
Gotta love it. Thank you for the dad joke, Jeff Whistler. That's usually my job. I appreciate it. Well, let's take a quick break. Let's hear from our wonderful sponsors. You are listening to Jeff and Bill on Let's Go Blues Radio. And don't go anywhere. We will be right back to preview this Blues and Kings game.
We'll return after these messages.
As a hockey player, Mike Burgoyne knows a thing or two about making the perfect play. And when it comes to real estate, he's always ready to score the winning goal for his clients. If you're a first responder, a veteran, a doctor, a nurse, a teacher, or a Let's Go Blues radio listener looking to score the home of your dreams, you'll receive special rates with Mike. Go ahead, shoot some questions his way, and he'll have the answer quicker than Curtis Joseph on a breakaway.
Curtis Joseph got the paddle down!
Any barriers? Mike will mow them down like Chris Pronger in front of the net. He'll score you your dream home or sell your existing home faster than a Brett Hall one-timer.
Flip past the Hall, he shoots, he scores!
See Burgoyne's real estate prowess in action today by emailing him at mike@strikewithmike.com or by calling 314-753-4060. That email again is mike@strikewithmike.com, and that phone number is 314-753-4060. Getting Mike Burgoyne on your team will be the boost your power play needs.
Hey guys, it's Jeff. You know, the fun, energetic host of Let's Go Blues Radio. I know I give off a natural energy and cheerful glow, but as I've gotten older, I've realized I need a kick in the pants to get going. I've tried it all, from forcing myself to drink coffee to picking up an energy drink every morning, but none of it provided true, sustainable energy without crash. Luckily, my friend Dustin at RockinThatIDLife.com told me about their product, Energy, which provides exactly what I need. The first thing I do every morning is fill up my shaker bottle with water and a small energy packet, and within minutes of drinking it, my day truly begins. I feel motivated to get going on my work and feel the mental focus take effect as I dive into what I'm doing. I don't crash, and I feel like $1,000,000 throughout the day. Reach out to Dustin today to experience how much better your professional life can be. Email him at rockinThatIDLife@gmail.com and get $10 off your first order. That's rockinThatIDLife.com, and that email again is rockinThatIDLife@gmail.com. Don't let a lack of energy keep you from being who you want to be.
Yes, and as you can see, there are a lot of different ways to stamp out thirst with refreshing Stag beer. Now, one of the most popular is this handy six-pack. People like the six-pack because it saves space in the refrigerator, lets them keep more good, cold Stag beer on hand. And you know, when you've got Stag on hand, you've got a mess.
And now, back to Let's Go Blues Radio, the longest running St. Louis Blues podcast with Price, Ponder, and Day.
Well, as we said, we've got Blues and Kings coming up in about an hour. These two teams did just meet recently on Saturday. We'll get to that game in a little bit. I'm sure we'll touch on it as we preview this one. But we do know that Jordan Binnington will be getting the start for the St. Louis Blues. Let's get into that real quick. So we speculated last week, how will the starts go? Jordan Binnington was playing lights out, fantastic. Blues ended up going as we predicted, and as Kurt begrudgingly went against. that Joel Hofer, it was his start because they do the scheduled start bullshit. It worked out because Hofer ended up playing against the Capitals, played well, beat the Capitals in that game. They went to, surprisingly to me, went to Bennington on Saturday against the Kings, which he played well again. And they ended up winning that game with four-game winning streak. Then Sunday went back to Hofer against the Stars. First of all, I didn't like that at all because I would have gone, because it went Hofer, Bennington, Hofer. I would have gone Bennington, Hofer, Bennington.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we were on the
and I
same
know you
page on that.
agree. Yeah, we agreed with that. But even with playing Hofer on, what was that, Thursday, I would have gone with Hofer still on Saturday and played Bennington against the Stars on Sunday. Now, again, it worked out to a certain extent because you got 2 wins against the Capitals and the Kings, but Hofer did not look good against Dallas.
No.
What was it? 3 goals on 9 shots.
Right.
Did not. I mean, I'll say I don't think any goal was particularly really his fault. Maybe you'll disagree, but he definitely did not play like a big goalie. He looked very small in net.
Mm-hmm.
He was timid in net. And I think that's what led to at least 2 of those 3 goals. So, not a fan of the way they did that. And again, they put Bennington into the second period anyway. But at that point, that last goal at the end of the first period, I think, was a momentum killer for the Blues. Not a fan of the way goaltending was managed in the past week. Surprise, surprise.
Right. No, I thought that was going to be the Washington game was going to be the game where the scheduled start shit was over. And I mean, I guess the scheduled start thing is out the window anyway, because they went Hofer, Bennington, Hofer when it was 2-2 or 2-1 Bennington, Hofer. So I don't know. We'll have to use some kind of AI magic to figure out their algorithm for who they're going to start. But yeah, I think it was a risky play going the way that they did. I mean, obviously it's looking really good coming out of the first 2 games of it, but then you throw Hofer to the Stars and he didn't look comfortable. I wasn't a big fan of the Marchment goal. I thought Dallas did a really good job of getting a guy on top of him and forcing him deep in his crease. And big goalies like to play deeper in the crease. I mean, look at Connor Hellebuck, right? He is a master of doing it. Hofer, just like you said, he looked small. He didn't have the best angles. And I'll tell you that, you mentioned the goal at the end of the first period. I mean, that's a backbreaker, right?
Yeah.
And can't entirely fault him, but it was the second goal that day that was scored with 0.1 seconds on the clock at the end of the first period. Did you see the other one?
Yeah, that was who was it? Pittsburgh?
I thought it was the Rangers game.
Rangers, yes,
Yeah,
that's who it was.
And it was like it was the Leafs. It was Matthew Nyes.
Okay, yeah.
So Matthew Nyes, he I didn't think he had a chance. Like, he got the puck at center ice with 2 seconds to go, and he still managed to get 3 strides in and unleashed a shot. And it was the craziest breakdown I've ever seen on a slow-mo with time elapsing. And it was like so quick. Puck with 0.1 seconds is at the middle of the crease, at the goal line, and in. That fast. Like that was just insane. But anyway,
well, it was like Booch almost did it against the Kings on Saturday too. He took that slap shot from the neutral zone, beat Riddick. Yeah. And I actually thought it crossed the line on real time. I'm like, ooh, that beat it. That was a buzzer beater. Just missed by was it about an eighth of a second.
Yeah.
But still, I mean, yeah, we've seen a couple of those lately. Kind of crazy for goalies to have to deal with that.
Yeah. But I think the biggest risk of going with Hofer against Dallas was what happened, right? He didn't look good. They pulled him, and then they put Bennington in, and I didn't think Bennington was bad, but Dallas was on fire, and now both of your goalies got lit up for 3 goals in that game, and I hate that narrative coming out of it.
Yeah, especially that first goal that Binnington gave up. I mean, my God, that passing play.
Yeah,
you can't let that happen. Was it a 2-on-1 and just across the crease? No chance for Binnington. And I agree. I think actually the last 2 goals too were solid on him as well. So just a rough game for Binnington to have to step into because Dallas already had the momentum. They were already going hard. And I'm not saying, I think Joel Hofer is capable. Anybody that's playing in the NHL, it's not an emergency backup, is capable of playing against the top teams in the league. I don't hate Hofer playing against the Stars at any point. It's just, to me, that's a division game. And Binnington has played very well against the Stars in his career.
Right.
So I just don't get not going with Binnington in that game particularly.
Yeah, it's Binnington. Binnington's got the good numbers, and it's meaningful hockey for the first time, right? We won 4 in a row, chance to extend that, and they just kind of went with the dice roll. So yeah.
Well, speaking of this game tonight, the Blues are 3-1-0 in their last 4 games, while the Kings are 0-3-1. The Kings are actually coming off a 4-1 loss to the Chicago Blackhawks on Monday night. That was their 4th straight loss. I actually watched this game because that was, for those that didn't see, the Chicago Blackhawks made a pretty big move trading Seth Jones to the Florida Panthers. Spencer Knight was involved in that trade, the young goaltender. He played his first game as a Blackhawk, still wearing, I love when that happens. He was still wearing his Panthers pads, his Panthers helmet. I love seeing that. There's somebody shared one the other day of Tim Thomas wearing all red gear with his Dallas Stars jersey.
Yeah.
He looked like a damn Christmas tree, and it's perfect. I love when that happens. I don't know why. I think it looks so cool when a goalie is forced, like, damn it, I've got this all Panthers helmet and I got to wear it as a Blackhawk now. But yeah, he played phenomenal. Just great goaltending for Chicago. And so, yeah, tough luck loss for the Kings. So they're going to be coming in with some fire, some rigor tonight, especially losing to the Blues on Saturday. And talking about special teams, the Kings are 8th in the league on the penalty kill. They've stopped 81.3% of all opponents' power play opportunities, but their power play has sucked. They've gone 2 for 13 in their last 5 games, and they currently rank 30th in the NHL, the 15.2% overall conversion rate. Of course, we sit here saying that the Kings have a bad power play. The Blues' penalty kill has been awful.
4 for 4 against Dallas.
Stars were 4 for 4 in that game. Picked the Blues apart in the penalty kill. Passes through skates, sticks. Blues had no answer for the Dallas Stars power play. So we say that and watch LA come out and score 3 power play goals tonight, but it does give you a little bit more leeway, I think, as a team to know you can take some penalties, take some liberties on plays if you have to, because the Kings are not known for a quick strike power play, but still, they do have plenty of firepower in, obviously, Anze Kopitar and Drew Doughty, the two have been doing it forever.
And you got to watch out for Kevin Fiala on that one-timer up top.
Kevin Fiala, I think he's got 24, 25 goals on the season. Quentin Byfield's been a hell of a player. Adrian Kempe's playing well. You got to look out still for this power play. But, yes, the Blues, I think special teams lately has still kind of been an issue, even with their strong play out of the break. But still, man, you gotta kill those penalties, man. There was you mentioned the Mason Marchment goal in the Stars game. That was right off the hop. Within 2 minutes of the game starting, you gotta, key moments like that, you gotta come up with a big kill.
Yeah. And it's Radek Fox has been taking a lot of penalties here lately. So, having one of your top power play penalty killers in the box isn't going to help. So,
yeah,
that's a little trend that needs to reverse itself. yeah, they have to have a better effort out there. Just, I think Dallas, but you mentioned it, the pinpoint passing. I think the TNT broadcast crew even called it video game passing on the Wyatt Johnson, where Duchenne set him up for the one time, or Duchenne to hints to Johnson on a tic-tac-toe around the crease. I mean, yeah, the Blues have to be able to cut that stuff out. And I think
that was the
the
sixth
game
goal.
just got away from them, right? The
They did.
Blues were on the back of the second night of back-to-backs and tired and had to travel and all that stuff. So looking forward to a much better effort here tonight.
Yeah, and against a team they've historically played pretty well, especially the last couple seasons since the Kings had their cup surge about 12, 13 years ago. Blues have played the Kings pretty well, I think. I don't have the record in front of me, but definitely think that this team can compete with a good LA team who's pretty much destined for the playoffs. Actually, I do have this stat here. The Blues have won 3 straight games against the Kings, outscoring them 11-5 in those tilts. So, yes, clearly playing well against the Kings the last couple times they've met.
Yeah, and I think tonight's the story is going to be different. I haven't had an opportunity to see the Kings lineup, but I assume that they're going to go with Darcy Kemper and not David Riddick. I thought Riddick looked fairly weak on a few of the goals. Had a strong game, but just looked weak, and the Blues pick them apart like they can UC Saros. So I think it'll be a different story, a little bit tighter, but yeah, we'll have to watch it while working tomorrow since we're predisposed to playing tonight.
Yeah, I'm debating. I could watch it probably when I get home if I really wanted to. I guess we'll see. We'll see how I feel. Because I'm the type of person after a game, I cannot go to sleep. And that's why I hate these 10:30 starts, because I'll get home, let's say, game ends midnight-ish. I'll get home probably 12:15, 12:30, depending on how long I dick around in the locker room. And then I probably won't be in bed tonight until at least 2:30, because I just know even if I go straight to bed, I will just lay there for an hour. So debating whether I'll want to watch it when I get home. Maybe I'll watch some of it and then catch the rest on lunch break tomorrow. We'll see. Something I wanted to bring up. And again, we've talked about last week about how much better the Blues have looked since break. I think clearly the record is better, but I just feel like they look more confident with the puck. They're getting a lot more zone time. How many times have we seen after a period, 2 periods, the Blues down in shots 2-1, 12-6 or 18-9 or something like that. It's just, oh my Lord, like, guys, get some control and get some shots on net while they're doing that now. So I did a little sleuthing of my own. Shots per game before the Four Nations face-off, they had 26.9 shots per game. That was 27th in the NHL. Shots per game after the Four Nations face-off break, 28.5. So they're averaging almost 2 more shots a game, and that is now, and in that time frame, it is 16th in the NHL. So they are getting more zone time, and accompany that, we also did shots against per game, which I think their shots against has been better as well. So before the Four Nations, they were giving up 28.6 shots per game, and that was 16th in the NHL in terms of lowest shot amounts. And then shots against per game after the Four Nations face-off, they are actually 5th. 24.8 shots against. They had one game where I think they only gave up 16 shots, which obviously drastically brings that number down. But I mean, still, that is 4 shots against per game that they have cut out. So, I mean, that could be a matter of 1 goal or 4 goals. So, I think overall this team has just looked better. They're pushing harder. The forecheck's been better. I think, again, the offensive zone play's been better. They're not losing pucks in the middle of the ice and causing 2-on-1s, 3-on-1s the other way. Yes, we've seen it a little bit, but I don't think nearly as much that we've seen. And I think that break kind of helped them mentally reset. which, when you make a coaching change on the fly like they did, it's hard to like really focus on the changes that coach is trying to implement. And I feel like we're finally fully seeing a Montgomery run team at this point. And I think that break helped reset that.
Yeah, I think that, and also, the subtraction of Sod, and the consistent play of Matthew Joseph. I think that's been key, right? And yeah, I was going to bring this up. Big Beaver says chemistry's clicking for sure. That the Sundqvist, Bolduc, and Matthew Joseph line looks awesome, right?
Yeah.
You got two speed guys that can, allow Sundqvist to take his time getting where he needs to go, and they're pushing the play. Some really, like he says, very good chemistry. How the last few games, Bolduc has had goals, Holloway's had goals, right? We're getting goals from our depth guys. Bushnevich, he's been probably the most markedly changed player since the break, I think, and I love seeing it. But now's the time they got to push, and they have to. Everybody has to keep producing. I know Kyrou, he's picking on Kyrou a bit there with the comments, but I thought Kairou's been good in a setup role, and
Yes.
that's if he's helping, great, but I don't know. I don't think I'm not on the trade Kyrou bandwagon whatsoever.
No, I'm not either. I mean, obviously, I'm on the trade anyone to make your team better bandwagon, but yeah, definitely not on the fully let's get rid of him and get spare parts if we can type deal. Yeah, and I'll say Big Beaver also says need to work on our D positioning. Yeah, again, that Dallas game especially, there was some real issues with the way that Dallas just picked them apart, not just on the power play, but overall, I thought their defensive game in that game did not look good. And I think in that LA game, I mean, I think the Blues played pretty well against LA on Saturday, but I do think that Binnington did have to play pretty big in his net, which actually we'll get to here in a second, a particular save he made. But yeah, I thought overall Binnington had to play, maybe not had to play really well, but definitely played well to keep the Blues on top throughout that game. Because yeah, the defense has been maybe a little bit more suspect in their offense in the own zone. And I do think the shots that I mentioned, big part of that is I think they've just had more offensive zone time. We haven't seen them control the puck really all season, really in 2 years. The Bannister led team too last year. They were not a puck possession team, and they still aren't, but I think they've gotten better and being able to just, I mean, what do they always say, right? The old adage, the best defense is a good offense. So if you have the puck, other team ain't shooting. So, and I think that's kind of been what we've seen from this team the past week and a half.
Yeah, no, they're keeping the puck in the other zone, whether it's hemming the other team in or having possession. I think that's been a huge difference. They're using their speed. They're getting in there. They're not getting shut down at the opposing blue line, which we saw way too much of in the first half of the season.
Yep.
And just real quick, Ovi alert. He is now 10 away. He just scored on Shesterkin.
Oh boy. All right. Well, we'll see this season if that's a talking point for us at some point. I think it's also obvious that Alexei Toropchenko listens to Let's Go Blues Radio because he hates Kurt Price. Kurt called him out last week and said that, offensively, in terms of depth scoring, he has easily been the most worrisome part. And I'll agree with that. He still only has one goal, but in this Dallas game, he had a career high 9 shots on goal. I mean, that's a lot for anyone, let alone a guy that's playing on your third or fourth line. That's pretty impressive. So he's obviously trying to pick up his offensive game. And I think we're seeing it again across the board for the Blues. But 9 shots on goal is unheard of for a fourth line guy.
Yeah, I mean, I think that he's his season's kind of a story of being snake bit a little bit hasn't got the numbers, but he's definitely, especially after the last game, he shows he's playing the right way. Right. And that's what we always we want to hear, those cliches. He's playing the right way. If you're getting 9 shots on goal in a game, you're doing something right. So I'm predicting he gets one tonight.
Oh, there you go. All right. You know what? I'll go with you. Sure. Toropchenko scores tonight. I'm with you. Well, we mentioned it. Let's go ahead and get to it because we are actually going to be wrapping up here pretty soon. We're going to get to our save of the week. So here it comes. Give it a minute. Oh, hang on. I got to bring you on board.
Let me know. Okay,
there we go.
All right.
Oh,
so
that
look
is
at
not
Allison Becker. Oh, sorry. Had to do it. I will share the right one. What a game. What a game Liverpool had today against Paris Saint-Germain and the UCL round of 16. Allison Becker, 9 saves on the day. Liverpool got 1 shot on goal and scored. Beautiful goaltending performance. But our save of the week, the hockey save of the week, goes to St. Louis's very own Jordan Binnington. This is the game against the Kings back in St. Louis on a Saturday night. Just absolute great read here, getting across. Cam Fowler, I mentioned this, Blues defense, right defense getting picked off at the opposing blue line, happening a lot. Cam Fowler's the guilty party here. He gets chipped by Quentin Byfield. Oh my God, what a player Byfield is. I was so impressed with him through this game, but this play here, I couldn't remember which game it was, and I still can't, but there was a very similar play like that happened against the Blues here recently where it wound up in a goal. And I think Byfield's got a little bit of growing still in his game. And if he makes the pass, like Bush does a good job of pushing towards them and then rolling over, taking the lane away. The game a couple weeks ago, maybe it was just last week, the puck went under Suter's skate across and gave no reaction time. I'm going to run it one more time because I'm still talking about it and haven't talked about the goalie. Binnington does a great job reading and pushing across. Again, Fowler gets chipped. Byfield goes down 2-on-1, sees he's got Lewis and gets around. He hesitates, gets around Bushnevich and makes the pass across. And at that point, Binnington's read it. He's got him dead to rights. And just an absolutely great push, something you are not going to see from me tonight. But I think Trevor Lewis did a great job trying to shoot back against the grain. And this is one thing I've loved about Binnington's game going back to the Four Nations is how well he's sealing down low on his pushes. And he does a great job keeping that the lead pad on the ice, takes it away, and great save. That's your Bill Day save of the week.
Yes, that was a beaut. Absolute beaut. Yeah, and I was telling you, and I even said this while the game happened, because that happened, and then the play went for like 2 or 3 minutes, and I think they had a commercial break next, and so they never showed an actual replay of that save, and I'm like, that was a hell of a save. Like, let's celebrate that one. So
right, even the extended highlights that Sportsnet. I don't shop at the Walmarts, I promise. That Sportsnet puts out didn't include that in the package, and I thought that was a shame.
Yeah, I agree. And you mentioned the push, and I was going to mention that. You mentioned Four Nations. That was something they said on the Canadian broadcast that I watched of, I think it was the Finland game, Finland and Canada, and they talked about how Binnington has one of the best pushes in the NHL. His ability to just get across quickly and cover low and like not allow because a lot of times you see these goalies push and their paddle lift up off the ice right at their hip area, and his doesn't do that. He slides all the way across. It's great athleticism and a great ability to just push and get over quick and cover the whole net. Now, obviously, he gets beat high there. Almost impossible to make a save like that. But when you're covering low and you've got the midsection covered, You're not playing small like Hofer did against the Stars on Sunday. I think that's all you can ask for a goalie on a play like that.
Yeah, and I just remembered the play where there was a goal. It was the Oilers, and it was I believe it was McDavid going across to Hyman.
Oh, right. Yep, I do remember that. You're right. Well, let's get into a little bit more that happened this week. We are and Bill, anytime you want to go ahead and bow out, I can finish the show myself. So that is
All
up
right.
to you.
Yeah. So I just real quick, no Blues trade news tonight. But yeah, I will be. I get the work from home Friday, so I will have. I will try to have coverage up on some device. Since I don't have NHL Network, I won't be able to see it there, but I'll be tracking that. And then, yeah, who knows if there's something big, maybe we can all jump in Discord or something.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Either we'll be in our Discord channel, or maybe we'll even do a show if there's big news. Because I know Kurt said he's planning on working from home too. I work from home every day, so that would be my plan anyway. But yeah, I do think that we will be doing something if there's any news at all. So stay tuned with us on Friday. Trade deadlines at noon. Is it noon?
I thought it was 2.
2. Yes, you're right. 2. Noon specific time. So yes, Bill, does that mean you're wanting to bounce out?
Yes, I need to do a few things before I get in the car and get to Kirkwood, enough time to get dressed out. So yeah,
you got it.
I'm calling it. So thanks for the quick show tonight, and let's go Blues.
You got it. All right. Thank you, Bill, for joining us. I'll finish up here. Bill's going to kill it for the Force tonight. So looking forward to seeing you. And I'll probably be up there in about 45, 50 minutes. So I'll see you up there, pal.
Yeah, you'll probably beat me still.
Probably.
All right.
All right, buddy. We'll catch you later. All right. Well, I am trying to figure out which of these I need to put up. There we go. All right, so we will go ahead and finish up the show here. Please keep those comments coming, as you can be my co-host as we close up the show. Let's quickly go over what happened in the other 2 games. Blues, again, they extend their their win streak to 4 games against the Kings the last time they played. Robert Thomas had an assist to extend his point streak and assist streak to 9 games. That is 13 points, 4 goals, and 9 assists in that time. Dylan Holloway added a goal and an assist. Colton Parayko, Pavel Buchnevich, and Zach Bolduc each scored for the Blues. And as we said, Jordan Binnington had himself quite the nice game. I thought this was a great game by the Blues to come out after they beat the Washington Capitals to get their first 3-game winning streak of the season. So nice to see them go ahead and get to 4. Would have been nice to see 5 on Sunday, but, that might be asking too much of this team at this point. We'll see if they can get to 5 later in the season. Right now would be the time to do it. Maybe they'll start with 1 tonight. So again, that Capitals game, that was last Thursday, that was their first 3-game win streak they've had all year. Philip Broberg added 2 goals. Thought he played very, very well. Love seeing him jumping up at the play. He is a very aggressive guy when he wants to be, and I just love the way he plays the game. I think he has been so good for the Blues. And surprisingly, I was looking, he's one of those guys that, and maybe just because you notice him when he's on the ice, I feel like he's out there all the time, and he's 5th on the team in time on ice right now, which is crazy. Average time on ice. So yeah, obviously that's 3rd pairing minutes, but obviously they've got plenty of other ice eaters in Cam Fowler, Colton Parayko, Justin Falk, Ryan Suter, even, and then Nick Leddy as well. He's up there as well. So, just crazy to see though that he was 5th on the team in time on ice. In this game, also, Dylan Holloway and Colton Parayko scored 35 seconds apart in the second period. That was a momentum killer. We talked about the Dallas Stars scoring that goal at the end of the first period on Sunday. This was a momentum killer for the Capitals. The Blues came out. First of all, the Capitals scored, and then within seconds, I think they were still announcing the Capitals' goal when Dylan Holloway scored, and then 35 seconds after that, Colton Parayko puts one in the net. And Colton Parayko having a monster season defensively. It's just been it's insane. And Jake Neighbors also had a goal and an assist for the Blues. Pavel Buchnevich and Braden Shen each had 2 assists in this game. This was Shen's 1,000th game as well. So we'll see if he continues to play for the St. Louis Blues as his name has come up in trade talks. And there's a lot, actually, well, his brother just got moved, which we got to mention there in the comments from Evan Sandell. Hopefully I'm saying that correctly. Yeah, we'll get to that in a minute because we got some trade deadline stuff coming up. Robert Thomas, again, he also had a point, obviously, in this game that extended his point streak to 9 games at the time. And Joel Hofer, 18 shots against, 16 saves. Did think he played very well in this game. So again, trade deadline coming up March 7th at 2 p.m. I've got it here in the notes. You think I would have checked that when I said that earlier. So it's really kind of what are the Blues at this point? Again, make sure you tune into us on Friday. We will be posting on social media if we're going to do anything, whether on Discord, discord.com. I'm sorry, letsgoblues.com/Discord is how you can join that channel. Also, again, if there's some big news, maybe we'll do a show or something as well. So what are the Blues? Are they buyers? Are they sellers? Are they staying pat? I'm on the latter. I think if I'm the St. Louis Blues, I'm standing pat. I think no matter what, even if this team wins tonight, and they get themselves closer to a playoff spot, I still think this is a year that you're trying to retool. And, unless you just get blown out of the water with a trade, I just don't see the Blues coming out and making a splash here, unless somebody just becomes available that they're interested in, or if, the Maple Leafs or maybe even the New Jersey Devils, who are dealing with an injury to their star player, Jack Hughes. I just don't see the Blues making a big, massive deal. This team is, I think, wanting to be more competitive next season. I think that's the start of what they expect to be a perennial playoff team again. I think if I think they still view this year, if they make it, it's cake. That would be great. We'd love to make the playoffs, get that playoff revenue, and who knows, maybe make some noise. But I do think that I wouldn't consider them buyers or sellers. I don't think they're looking to trade Braden Shen. I don't think they're looking to trade Jordan Kyrou, but I do think they are listening, as they always should. Honestly, and I agree with Kurt Price. He said that on the show many times that if you can make a trade to make your team better, you do it. It doesn't matter who it is, what player it is. And I agree with that. If you get an offer to acquire Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl for Robert Thomas, you take it. Nobody's untouchable. I just think that, though, there's a difference between we will listen to offers and we are looking to make a trade. I don't think they're looking to make a trade. I think they're happy with what they have going into next year. Now, if you can move in Oscar Sundqvist or even a Ryan Suter, who has recently said he'd love to play another season here in St. Louis, I just don't think you make that trade unless it's like, these guys are free agents. We're probably not going to re-sign them. Let's get a draft pick for them. Let's see what we can get for them. But, the Braden Shens of the world, the Jordan Kyrous, the Pavel Buchneviches, these names that have come up, Justin Falk's name has come up. I don't think they're looking to make any moves unless they just get blown out of the water. And so, again, as I said, Evan Sandell here in the YouTube chat. Nashville acquires Bunting for Luke Shen and Tommy Novak. Don't really get that from either side. I said that before the show started. Bill and I were talking about, what are we going to talk about the trade deadline? And then that trade came across. Looks like it was at, I think it was 7:52 our time here in St. Louis. Nashville Predators acquired Michael Bunting and a 2026 fourth-round pick from the Pittsburgh Penguins for Tommy Novak and Luke Shen. Very odd trade. Both non-playoff teams looking to probably make some trades in terms of being sellers, and then they make a trade with each other. I don't know. Maybe the Predators are thinking they can move Bunting again at the deadline, and maybe Pittsburgh's thinking they can move Novak and Shen. Very odd deal. I'm with you, Evan. I didn't really get that myself. There was another big trade today. The Tampa Bay Lightning got Oliver Bjorkstrand and Yanni Gourde. It goes back to Tampa, as well as a 2026 fifth-round pick. Seattle gets Michael Eyssimont, 2025 second-round pick, and then first-round picks in 26 and 27. So Tampa is basically getting the band back together, seeing if they can make one more run maybe with some of these guys that they've won with before, and a guy like Yanni Gourde being back on the team. And so a couple other moves. We mentioned the Seth Jones and Spencer Knight trade, but nothing, to me at least, since the Colorado trade of Mikko Rantanen. Nothing really shaking my boots up anymore out of the trades. Again, the Seth Jones trade was a big one, and I don't like having Spencer Knight in the division. Some people were down on that trade. Actually, I was on the Puck podcast again this week, and Eddie Garcia was down on that trade for Chicago. He did not like the acquisition they made of Spencer Knight in that deal. I disagree. I think Spencer Knight is a hell of a goaltender. If he can stay healthy, I think he is a solid number one in the NHL. He's still young. He's only 22. And obviously, as I mentioned, he played phenomenal in that first game against the Kings. So don't like that trade from a Blues perspective, because I don't want Spencer Knight in this division, but we'll see. Maybe I'm wrong. We'll see. As again, the trade deadline is on Friday at 2:00. We'll see what the Blues do. I'm not expecting anything. I wouldn't get too excited, Blues fans, about anything really happening. Again, I think to move Shen, it's going to take a haul. I think even if a team like Toronto were to say, we'll give you our first round pick, I think Doug Armstrong's still saying that's not enough. I think, especially looking at the market now, and the trade we just mentioned with Tampa Bay and Seattle, I think he thinks he can get a pretty big haul for a guy like a Braden Shen. So I think even maybe a first round pick might not be enough for Doug Armstrong to make that trade. So we'll see. They're kind of depleted on draft picks the next couple seasons because of a couple moves they've made. So maybe he does make that move for a first or maybe even an early second. But yeah, I'm not expecting much of anything from the St. Louis Blues, and I'm okay with that. I think it's time to stay pat and build for next season and beyond. So again, if you get blown out of the water, you take it, but otherwise not expecting much. Next up for the Blues, obviously tonight, they battle the Los Angeles Kings at 9:30. On Friday, they go, I don't know, what do you say, across the county, and they play the Anaheim Ducks at 9:00. Saturday, they will play the Kings again, and for the final time this season, and that game's actually at 7:00 local time for St. Louisans. And then Thursday, March 13th, so they get a nice break there after the Saturday game. They play again next Thursday against Pittsburgh in Pittsburgh at 6:00. So by the Friday night game, we will know what this roster looks like for the rest of the season. So should be interesting. Keep in mind, Jimmy Snuggerud is still going strong in college. So we'll see what he does and where his team ends up. And maybe we'll see him in a Blues jersey before the season ends here in St. Louis. The Baked Beaver says Army is going to hold out for actual money and or solid picks or players, but we are vibing. Yeah, and I think that's the other part too, is this team got hot recently. So it's like, do you want to break this up? Because again, even if you're just looking at it as playoff revenue, that's 2 to 3 games in the first round where you're just adding money to your bank. And for an owner like Tom Stillman, that's huge. So I do think that is something they're considering as well. If we can make the playoffs, let's do it. And again, once you're in, you never know. We saw that with the 19 Blues. I mean, I know that's a different story because that team was expected to be a lot better than they were. to start the year. But again, you just never know. You get in, you have the right matchup. Maybe you get past the first round. Maybe you get past the second round. And all of a sudden, you're talking about being one of the last 4 teams left in the NHL. So I think it's definitely worth at least exploring getting into the playoffs for the St. Louis Blues. And I think that's something he will consider before making a move, even if it's a haul for a player that you might not expect to get that much. So again, stay tuned with us. Friday is the trade deadline at 2:00. Follow us on social media. We will be posting mostly probably on Blue Sky and Threads, but we're also on Facebook, Instagram. What else is even out there? Good Lord. We still post on Twitter when we need to. Friendster, Grinder, we're everywhere. So just look for us and you will find us. And again, if you're interested in one of these beautiful white or blue jerseys, if you want both, that's $85. You want one of them, it's $45. And just reach out to us on social media or at radio@letsgoblues.com. We will get you squared away with one of these beautiful jerseys. Well, thank you, everybody who tuned in live. Thank you to Bill for joining me and for also playing goalie for me tonight because we needed somebody. And thanks to our amazing sponsors, strikewithmike.com and rockinthatidlife.com. That will wrap up episode 14. I keep doing this. Episode 23 of episode 14 of the original St. Louis Blues hockey podcast, Let's Go Blues Radio. Thanks for listening, and thanks to those who participated in the YouTube and Facebook live chats during the show. We'll talk with you next week. For Bill Day and Kurt Price, I'm Jeff Ponder, and this was Let's Go Blues Radio. Until next time, everyone, let's go Blues. Beat the Kings. Let's go.
Mark Goodson television production.
Sit, Ubu, sit. Good dog.
I found prints! No, fingerprints. I don't think so.